This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AFC East Shakedown. I am the host for this week, BX Sports Jedi Kev from the Jets-alorian Podcast. Salute to everyone in the chat. Let's say hello to the panel, the dais. Let's go in from down south, Mr. Curtis from Ace Per Head. Salute, Curtis.
I'm eating still, man. I'm glad to be here. The man, I got caught with chicken nuggets in my mouth, man. I thought I had 10 more seconds, baby. But I'm glad to be here.
Well, from chicken cutlets to chicken nuggets, let's say hello to Mr. Tommy. What's going on, Tommy?
What's up, my dudes? How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing well. Enjoying this festive holiday season. Let's go right into this wonderful week of football that just passed by us. Let's go with a game to me was very exciting, very intriguing, very enthusiastic. Was your Buffalo Bills taking on the crybaby Chiefs? Tommy, what did this game had a lot of storyline, drama, fingered toenails, you name it, you got it. Tommy, your thoughts there. Big win for your Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, man, huge win, a must win. I said it. I think we need a win out to get an opportunity to, make the playoffs. Today, by the way, Bengals won, which is unbelievable. Terrible play calling there down the stretch by Minnesota. Ruined it for us. But either way, that was a must win. By the way, Mahomes, really shitty way to act towards the end of the game, especially when you're going to congratulate the other quarterback. Just biggest crybaby move I've ever seen. And the call was the right call. If anything, he should have been racing after Tony. That was offsides. They're not going to look the other way because you're the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? It was the right call, plain and simple. But for the game, how the game went, listen, the Chiefs' defense is legit. They're a very good defense. I thought our offensive coordinator, this is the first game, he kind of stubbed his toe there. He didn't adjust well, towards, I would say, the second half of the game. The Chiefs' defense was getting after Allen over and over, and he just did not, get him extra protection to buy Allen more time. I thought James Cook had a good game. Joe Brady went away from the run game a little bit too. That's something that he needs to, work better at, But either way, we got the dub. That was the most important thing. I thought our defense stood their ground because, listen, even though the Chiefs didn't get that touchdown, they still had an opportunity to win the game. They had a third down and a fourth down, and our defense came through and closed the show. So I don't want to hear no whining. It is what it is. It wasn't like a fourth down play, and even if it was, who gives a shit? But yeah, game over, sealed and delivered. And then, of course, we'll get to that Miami game, but Miami shit the bed, and that helped out the Buffalo
last
Bills.
week?
It was a great weekend if you're a Buffalo Bills fan.
All right, that was a lot said there. Curtis, you watching it or yourself, like you're watching it with a lot of implication on our division. Seeing Buffalo, Kansas City, that fourth down, first and foremost, that second down play, the creativity of Kelsey with the lateral going back there. and I know that's a controversial subject because usually a lot of times if the wide receiver is offsides, they usually tell the receiver, "Hey, get back move back." And Curtis, I've been watching football for a long time. Don't they? If it's on offside on the offense, the play is dead. They don't even allow the play to be even snapped. It's the same thing as a false start. Why? What? All of a sudden, we're seeing a lot of changes in the rules. I mean, I don't want to take away from that game as well. I saw something in the Giant game. The ground cannot cause a fumble. Meanwhile, the ground caused a fumble, and the Giants almost lost the game. And again, we're talking AFC East.
Well,
look
at my Dolphins. The defensive lineman made a shift to one side, and they called a delay of game on a defensive line.
Yeah. So the reason, though, I'll tell you though, real quick. Sorry to cut you off, but the reason why that play wasn't blown dead is there's a difference between jump. Like when a offensive lineman jumps or flinches, they usually stop the play, right? But he was offside. He was lined up offsides. So if you watch that play, they threw the flag right away, instantly. It wasn't like it was a delayed penalty. So they weren't going to stop the play because of that. They continued on. It wasn't a dead ball foul. But no, normally on that. And by the way, the ground can cause a fumble. I think there's a certain rule of it, though, how it can cause a fumble, by the way. But no, they don't usually stop that. Now, they say this season there's been 12 of those penalties called. Last season was only 2. In 2021, there was only 1. They do give warnings sometimes, but they say when it's so bad like his was, they don't have to because he's so over and he didn't ask.
It wasn't that blatant. Yeah. It wasn't that blatant. Yeah. It was just a tip of a foot, but it's still
he was way over. He was way over.
He was over the football.
Yeah, he was way over, like way.
His foot was over the football.
Usually, if they're on the flank at the on the boundaries,
right,
the ref might say something, but not when they're in it because then they would have to travel inside. There's no ref that close because he was inside on the slot, lined up. And he was way over. Like, I don't know how the hell he didn't see it.
His foot was matched up to the football, which you can't.
Oh, it was bad, man. I was like, what is this guy hiding?
By the way, too.
He knew the ball was coming to him, and he was so excited he totally forgot about everything.
And their O-line was actually, and they're complaining, but their O-line was actually in a wrong formation as well. That shouldn't have been a penalty. Nobody talks about that either. So the Chiefs get away with they get away with so much anyways. It's like crazy that they were to complain about this. That was a good call.
The linemen's move premature before the snap on the exterior linemen. You could see that.
They held you. Holding against the Jets that time.
That holding the offensive line moves before the ball is snapped. I get that. But like you said, Tommy, they had 2 more downs to get that first, and they couldn't come up with it. So you can't cry. You can't cry me a river on that. But Curtis, what does that mean for you guys? Because before you're going in, you see the Buffalo already won. What's the mindset now heading to Monday night? And we're gonna go Bills right into Dolphins, and I want you to give me your thought. Your 24 hours watching these games.
Well, I really didn't know who I wanted to win or lose between the Bills and Chiefs. I've been saying all year, Week 18 against the Bills and the Dolphins is going to be for something. It's going to be sizable. But I just wanted to watch a good game. What?
For McDaniel's career job as a head coach.
Oh, but again, it's not fair. It's not. Listen, the Dolphins have had a poor offensive line since Richie Incognito got unfairly cut from the team. And this offensive line was built irresponsibly, recklessly. And if it costs this team the season, now the media is going to run cover and say McDaniel and Tua. Greer is a Teflon man. He could have bodies in the basement, and it would be Flores' fault. He'll be here no matter what. And I think I'm a little concerned. I said just a little a flippant comment when Fangio was hired, that now they got the backup. And Greer can just say, well, we're moving to Fangio. Greer is a snake. And, I'm not saying it's going to happen. We could win tomorrow and we could win 4 out, whatever.
Correct.
But if we don't, Greer and his media machine will put McDaniel up and he'll be Flores 2.0, just a different flavor. 100%.
I heard that Greer's having the Christmas party for the media at Tootsie's.
Maybe you
By
never
the
know.
way, Scott, there's no Trevor got caught up at work today, so no Trevor, no Juan. I will tell you though, just for everyone that has been following this AFC East Shakedown, Trevor and Juan will be back week 17 and 18, and then in week 18, we'll have some news about the future of the AFC East Shakedown. All right, go ahead.
All right, go continue with that. Your assessment there with the Miami Dolphins now, and now Monday night. You see,
They're in trouble. They're in big trouble.
No, you see Monday night, and you see them kicking off against the Titans. How confident?
Oh, I thought we were going to win, but I got a little nervous because Tehran wasn't in, and then I got really nervous when Connor went down. When Connor went down, it was like woo, 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 and you know. I figured we'd win no matter what. You know, eventually we just get that ahead and win. And then once we were up 13 points, I was like, you know, it's over. And I kind of stopped paying attention to the game. You know, I was like, I had something to do with the kids or whatever. And I came back. I'm like, what the heck? We lost? My wife's like, they lost. How did they lose? I'm like, I don't know. I like go back and rewatch. I just kind of was like, there's 4 minutes left. But then when I watched that last 4 minutes, it was just a calamity. And, you know, people blaming Fangio, but there was so many, you know, the media is terrible. You know, they'll make a call about Fangio didn't blitz enough. But there was so many player-driven failures. Guys doing the wrong assignments, totally screwing up. He had like 1 or 2 bad calls. But then McDaniel came back on that second drive. And I didn't notice in the game, but when I started studying the film, it concerned me. They were running nickel all day, and we were running the football. But on that second drive after that touchdown, we had to burn some time. They came out in a 4-3, and we ran it 2 times in a row, and they shut it down. And then they got the pressure and the sack. But it made no sense. You come to the Titans. They're in a 4-3. How do you not audible out? And McDaniel, I think, is getting overwhelmed. I think the lack of an offensive line, the fluctuation, all this stuff is starting to overwhelm him because he's the HC and the OC. And I am very concerned. I think there's a very good chance it's going to be raining tomorrow and windy.
Already.
They say the gust. They said, well, if it's supposed to stop raining at 1 o'clock, but it could go past that. I think that would help us because you guys play man. But the wind is supposed to be 19 to 13 miles an hour with gusts up to 24. Oh, yeah. No, I don't think Flores called the wrong play. His cornerbacks just got out man like 2 or 3 times, you know. The plays were there. I was watching that game. I was a little unimpressed. I mean, I was very impressed with them, but I was like, these corners aren't so good. But so that was it, man. McDaniel had his chance. Then he came back on that last drive. At the last drive, 1:49, all you need is a field goal. They get a first down and they shut down on 3rd and 2, shut down on 4th and 2. It was a disaster. And the injuries piled up. X got injured. Deshaun Elliott got a concussion. Connor's out for the season. Eichenberg, although he's garbage, he's the number 1 center now. He has a calf problem. Jackson has an oblique issue that's got exasperated. Van Ginkel picked up an oblique issue. This team is nearly gutted. Nearly gutted. And you guys are coming. Your offensive lines, I'm not saying you're going to win, but it ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy.
We'll get to that one, absolutely. And let me ask you this, Curtis. For Miami, for your head coach, maybe keep it simple, stupid, with the offense. Not trying to be too innovative or too exotic, just keep it simple.
He can't. The O-line's so bad. Look, you say whatever you want about the Jets, but they can come line up and just punch you in the face inside zone. And they'll get a little bit here and there. We can't do it at all. We don't have the personnel. We're all finesse. We're all movement. We're all speed.
And on a soggy wet,
it's a big problem.
On a soggy wet field, because it's right now. I'm in Central Florida, and it is pouring. And I know down there, it is even coming down because there's a tropical storm coming. Actually, in December, believe it or not, coming up towards us, and we've been hitting, and we're just getting the front end of the range. So down there, South Florida, they're getting saturated. Tommy,
it could be so big. Let me tell you something. The Dolphins are poised for utter disaster or to rise like heroes from the ashes. It's going to be
right.
one or the other. I think they're going to either win like maybe 1 of 4 or like 3 of 4.
All right. So Tommy, you're sitting back on a Monday night. You know, you're having your hot pockets, about to watch Monday Night Football with a little Corona on the side, and you see the game kick off. What was your thoughts there? I know you were rooting. You were a big Tennessee Titan fan.
So we actually go live on Monday night at 9:30 on my channel. So we were actually live at the time, and we were kind of looking at the game score while we were, obviously doing our podcast and talking with the chat. And it was close. The game was close for a long time, and it wasn't looking good for the Dolphins. They had a lot of injuries. Tyreek Hill got rolled up on. I know they're trying to take that play out of football. Don't take that play out of football. It's football. Stop it. It is what it is. Eventually, it's going to be flag football. I don't think that's a bad play. It is what it is. Injuries happen all the time. Okay. But either way, their offensive line is beat up. They were kind of like they've been really crumbling as far as injuries go this second half of the season, the Dolphins, and it's coming at a terrible time for them. Even Waddle got banged up early on in that game as well,
and Hill might not play.
And Hill that's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of things right now going on in Miami that's coming at the worst time. So anyways, long story short, we wound up getting off the podcast around, 10:45 or so. And the game's still going on. Mikey's like, hey, I got to leave. It was like, 7 minutes left or something. They punted. They fumbled the punt, Tennessee. Dolphins score right away. Then they fumbled again. And I text Mikey, game over, right? There's no way. All right, down 14, 5 minutes to go, and the Tennessee goes down, scores a touchdown in 2 minutes, and gets a stop. Oh, by the way, gets a 2-point conversion, which was gutsy, right? 8 points on that, and then they wind up getting a stop, getting a touchdown. Game fucking over. And such a shame because the Dolphins still had an opportunity with under 2 minutes to go, a little under 2 minutes, and they just could not get the job done. You got to get rid of that ball there. 4th down, doesn't matter. You got to give your receiver an opportunity, and he didn't even give his receiver an opportunity. You put pressure on Tua, and that's what happens sometimes. But no offensive line, no receiver help, no Tyreek Hill on the field. Easier said than done. I get that. So I was ecstatic. I couldn't believe it. And it definitely obviously helps the Buffalo Bills. And the Dolphins do not have an easy schedule coming up the next 4 games.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So 100%. That was this past weekend was key. By the way, Patriots also beat the Steelers. Like, it's perfect.
Yes,
so listen to this, guys. Listen to this. It's the worst case scenario for the Dolphins. Clear 22-mile-an-hour winds with 30-mile-an-hour gusts.
Ugh.
Do you know what that does? If you go check the numbers of points, the statistics of points, after 8 miles an hour, it drops 3 points. Over 20, it drops 7. This gusts, you're talking powerful. 30-mile-an-hour gusts is nuts if that's what it ends up being. And then if you line up Wilson versus Tua, he's got the gun. He's used to playing in the bad weather up over there. I am very concerned. Very concerned.
I know someone else who's concerned.
I'll never have my team ever win anything.
There's a ton of time left.
There's nothing left.
Ton of game left.
Bro, I thought he was
Ton of game left.
I thought he was throwing up. I thought he was throwing up.
So much time left. A minute.
A famous Dolphin YouTuber likes to do that one. What a show that was.
Shout out to Frank the Tank. He makes every time a spectacle himself, even when he watches the Mets.
Is he mentally disturbed, or is he?
I think he ate a lot of pink chips when he was a kid. But he's entertaining. God. He gets a lot of views, so you know what? People seem to like it. Now, before we go on we move on here, let's look at the projected schedules here for the two teams that we spoke about.
I think you guys are getting too
Dolphins.
excited about this, man. You guys like reveled. I can see the smiles ready to like crack out off the side of your face, like a torture, man.
The Dolphins, they got a gauntlet coming up. They have the Jets tomorrow, followed by the Dallas Cowboys. They have the Ravens. Then they finish off with Buffalo. Oof, that's a gauntlet. I mean,
Yeah,
let me
4-0,
realistic.
baby.
Okay, there I was gonna go. What is your realistic aspect of how many games you win? I think personally, if Miami wins half of those games, they're sure to win the division. But if they go 1-3, that last game is gonna be a little tight.
Right now, what are they? They're what? 2 game and a half behind, right? The Bills. Yeah. So if they win if the Bills win that game, it's a half. So
Remember, you need to win that game, tiebreaker situation.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see us winning the Ravens. I see us being able to beat the Jets, maybe. And it depending on how banged up we are, because we're home. We're supposed to be a better team, but I don't know. I don't know what these conditions will be like. The Dallas game is going to be brutal because I don't know if Hunt's going to be back then. And Dallas is very, very tough. There's so many guys that are really injured. I don't even know. We could be in a very, very, very bad situation. I think it's going to be either 1 win and 3 losses or 3 wins and 1 loss. We're either going to, like I said before, we're going to rise up and do some miracle, like come together moment, or we're going to collapse. And to me, the O-line is so bad that I don't know if they're going to be able to do that 3-1. I really don't. I got to see tomorrow. If we can pull out tomorrow, it's going to reset the clock. If we lose tomorrow, man, it's going to be like pull the fire alarms. It's going to
I agree.
I think
you guys
win,
lose.
1 win, you're okay.
Yeah.
1 win, I think personally, 1 win, you'll be okay. That's just me looking at that. Win 1-3. I think you'll be okay. For some reason, you get either wild card or division win. I don't know. I don't know what you think for the Dolphins before I ask you on your Buffalo Bills. But before I get you go, Tommy, let's acknowledge Miss Beth B is in the chat. So
Hey,
to
Beth.
acknowledge her.
Hey,
Indeed.
Beth, what's going on?
Indeed. Tommy, give me the Dolphins, and then I'm going to ask you. Then give me what you think your Bills, because your Bills got a nice schedule too. Pretty nice one, but it's dangerous.
we do.
But let's go with
It
Dolphins
is,
first.
100%.
Let's go with Dolphins first.
Yeah. So Dolphins got the Jets obviously this weekend. That's not that. I almost thought that was going to be a pushover because considering what happened the last time the Dolphins and the Jets played on Black Friday, which was unbelievable. By the way, and we haven't talked since, Kev. So bad that quarterback. They cut him. They released him. It's unbelievable. Your coach, but we'll get into that later. Anyways,
that's what happens when you're in New
yeah.
York City and you have to deal with a rat. You get rid of the rat.
Yeah, I feel like this game around, his second game around, with the Dolphins banged up, right? With Zach Wilson coming off of the AFC Player of the Week, which is unbelievable.
He looked good.
It's going to be a little. I think the momentum swing goes into the Jets' favor in this game. I really do. And their defense is still playing lights out. And now their offense actually kind of woke up last week. Let's see if they can continue. But that's good for the Bills. And then, boy, oh boy, the Dolphins don't get much easier. Dallas, Baltimore, Buffalo. I'm telling you, man, that is a gauntlet. You guys lose against the Jets, I do think, right there. I do believe the Bills will win the division. I can't see the Bills dropping the ball there, because if we win this weekend against Dallas, and
it's raining for you guys too,
and they're a dome team, right? And we're playing pretty damn good football, So if we win, I said this last week, if we beat KC and we beat Dallas, I think we can run the table, because those are our 2 toughest opponents left. No offense to your Dolphins, but just right now with the way you guys are playing, like I said, we get past these 2, which we're already down to 1. Which is Dallas, then I think the momentum swing is huge. I think the confidence level of the Buffalo Bills will be massive. You saw what the Chargers did Thursday night. We play them next.
That's a freebie.
I wouldn't
Yes.
be giggling because whenever you get the interim coach, teams
No,
tend to play.
they got a
look at the
backup.
stats. Look at the
Yeah, but
stats. Whenever you get the
but-
interim coach, they never teams tend to
stats,
play
but-
better.
They don't have a they have a backup quarter. Like they have a lot going on.
Yeah, that
right
quarterback's like a third stringer.
now. Right? Who's throwing trust me, it's not
He's
good
bad.
in LA right now.
Yeah.
And if he's bad, he's real bad.
I know he's bad. I know
It
he's
would
bad.
take a
You made a good
miracle.
point. I thought the duck was going to be on the center.
Yeah, so I think we got the Patriots and the Chargers.
Yeah,
Or
that's a
the- I
layup.
forget how it goes. I think it's at Chargers. Yeah, at Chargers. I'm sorry. Home against the Patriots, and then at Miami. So
At Miami.
yeah. So we finished. Like I said, we get the victory over Dallas. We're in very good shape with the remaining schedule.
Oh.
I agree.
So
Oh, I could just, you know what? Whatever little hair I have left might fall out if the Bills win and the Dolphins lose.
that would be unbelievable.
Hey, the possibilities are on the table there because the Patriots. Bill, let's talk about the Patriots real quick here. They're on up. They had a good game. They beat
Yeah.
the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of speculation that it's already an agreement. The parting of ways between Belichick
Yeah.
and Kraft, which
Crazy.
looks. We've been saying the guy's been saying that now. We've been saying that for almost a couple weeks now. The guys said that we all felt that way.
Yep.
What are they going to play for? Do you think there's any ounce of a motivation for a Patriots team to want to play, at least for Bill, for something? Because football is a game of motivation. Or you think they're just going to make business decisions? Business decisions? You think so?
I play for Bill for why? If the decision's already made, what do they care? I mean,
But
honestly,
players
it's not
still have that
I
admiration.
get
of,
it,
you know
but
what?
but these aren't also like I feel like some of these players aren't like they haven't been on the team a long time. It's not
Okay,
like it's like
fair.
like the veteran team that's been around Bill a long time. You know, they feel bad. Bill, like you know what I mean. Like I could see if it was like Tom Brady still Edelman. You know, all the crew Gronk. It's like oh, we want to play for Bill. It's like yeah. These guys are all fairly new to the team. Mac Jones could give two shits what happens to Bill Belichick at this point. I'm
But
sure.
let me
Like-
throw this contrarian moment out. Okay, if you're not gonna play for Bill, you know there's gonna be massive change in New England. You got to put something on film for other teams to continue
That's
your
the
NFL
key.
career. And guys are
Yeah.
gonna play hard because they need to latch on to another team and get
absolutely.
paid. So that's a
Absolutely.
dangerous spot. That's why I think the Patriots, despite the fact not playing for nothing, could be dangerous.
But
Well,
they're
that's
going to be in
what they still
Buffalo,
got.
right?
They still got their and they still got their listen. I always respect Bill Belichick and the defense. He'll always have his team ready to go, right? Like that I'll never take away from what he's done as an NFL coach, what he's done in New England. Like so, of course, that team could be dangerous just because of their defense alone. But you can't take any opponent lightly. But I think we would be just fine if like I said, if we handle business against the Cowboys. I can't see us, shit in the bed after two hard fought battles, you know what I mean, Casey and Dallas and winning those games and just all of a sudden losing against a team that we shouldn't lose against. But who knows? You never know. Any given Sunday, right?
I can't wait to see tomorrow the Step Brothers Bowl between Dak Prescott and Allen. Those are the two Step Brothers, man. They both it's Christmas time. They're gonna be baking cookies all over the field, turning the ball over. Oh, that's gonna be
That's going to be a
delicious.
great game, man. And it's
Oh.
great. I'm happy it's at 4:00.
Yes, not that 1 o'clock
baby.
window.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yes. So what are the chances we think Kansas City bounce backs on New England?
No, they'll beat New England.
They'll be New England. If you got
I
anyone
think
want to throw a
so.
score? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Their
see
defense will stifle that offense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Zach,
you're right.
You got a young,
You're right.
young quarterback. Their defense is still good. It's the offense of KC that's struggling right now,
It's
but
bad.
they'll find a way. I don't know if they're gonna blow them out or anything, but they'll beat the Patriots.
I
I
think
would
they're
be
gonna try to-
shocked if
I think they're going to be feature heavy with Tony. They're going to try to get Tony involved, like to make it seem like no, nothing's happened.
to
We're-
go away,
we're-
make it go away. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not upset, and it'll be interesting to see on that one there. Who do you like anyway? Let's go with the Bills and Cowboys. Curtis, what are your keys for Buffalo to pull out, or what are the keys that Cowboys need to do on the road, outside weather? They're a different team from Jerry's world. What's your thoughts there?
Well, to me, you got to be able to run on the Cowboys. You got to be balanced. You can't let Parsons and what's the other guy's Ware or whatever his name. I can't remember his name. I can always forget. Ware, right? It's the other guy, the interior D tackle.
Yes, Lorenzo.
Because there was the other wear, so I get confused sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah,
all right,
from a while back.
Phillips.
yeah. And so you gotta
Marcus
slow
wear.
that pass. Yeah. So I always get confused. I'm like, holy cow, I'm like thinking about the other guy. I can't. Anyway, so you got to slow that pass rush down. That's the key. You know, they got tight coverage. I think they're gonna be. They're a dangerous defense, but you gotta run on them. You gotta be physical. If they have any weaknesses in the run game, and the Bills, Tommy mentioned it like last week or whatever. They've all been together, that whole front. And I was thinking about, because Tommy mentioned something, and it really started registering in my head. Now, all these offensive lines, they're missing practices, they're missing preseason games, they're missing two-a-days, all this other stuff to break down the chemistry, and chemistry is super critical for an offensive line. So the one way you could kind of offset that is by being the same unit through the season. And I think a lot of these teams that have guys coming in and out, the talent levels on these guys aren't really high. They're not really practiced, and it just throws the whole thing off. But offensive lines that stay together, they get that consistency, they get that chemistry, and it gives them a substantial edge. And even if you look at the Bengals now, they, I think, have had their offensive line for most of the year. It's not a great offensive line, but you can see, I'm starting to do a study now on the chemistry and consistency and production of these offensive lines. I think there's a loose correlation. So I think that the Bills will be able to run that football. I think they're going to win. I think it's going to be ugly. I think the Bills fans are going to be on totally on their thing. And, they're coming off a big win, Dallas, and there's going to be a little bit of a letdown. I think that it's going to be cold. It's going to be late. It's going to be maybe rainy. And so I expect the Dallas Cowboys to lose, which is bad for me because then they're going to have to win the next week. So I think the Bills have a really good chance to win. So I don't know what the score will be. I think it'll be, 21-27 or something like that, 24-31. I think there'll be scores. But both these teams kind of like to run a little bit, and I think they'll move the game forward. But this weather could be it could also turn into a disaster depending on how much rain's there. But I do think the Bills will win.
All right. And Tommy, I saw the emphasis on that Monday night game with Cooks. They're running the football a little more with Cooks, which I think is the best thing because the less that Allen does, the less mistakes he's going to make. He's really good, though. Don't get me wrong. It's not saying that he's terrible. But I'm just saying the less he's going to put in a position to fail, you're going to be in a position to win, succeed because of the running game. I like that effort. You've been talking about that. You've been waving that flag all season. What are your thoughts there? Are you happy that they're finally running the football, especially this late in the season?
I think we've been, even when Dorsey kind of had the ball, we were running a little bit more this season than last season, but that's because of the offensive line. You got to credit the offensive line, what Cromer did, what Brandon Beane did in the offseason. You got younger, drafting Osiris Torrance, free agent Connor McGovern. Spencer Brown has been probably our comeback player, whatever you want to call it, most improved player. That was one guy that Bills Mafia just didn't like. Everyone, right tackle, man, he's gonna be. And I kept telling everybody, when that dude gets some time to work with the offensive line coach. He's healthy now. Let's see what, before you judge a guy. And he's actually playing very well. So, we're now going into week 15 with the same offensive line. That's very, very impressive. I think we're 10th in the league, so not too bad at all as far as offensive line goes. So that will help the run game. James Cook, I like him, but he's not a super elusive running back. He relies on his speed. He's a good pass catching back out the backfield. He's a little bit light. And he's not good at pass protection. So sometimes that's why you won't see James Cook out on the field as much because he's not good at pass protection. And that's why you'll see Murray or Ty Johnson out there. But I actually like that mix. And I hope against the Cowboys, we'll see what they do with Fournette. I'm still waiting for him to be called up. But I would like for Fournette to be called up this game. I don't know if it's going to happen. But you got to wear down that defensive line with Parsons, and Ware and them boys, and then you can get really Cook going. And then they will also wear down as far as getting into Allen's face. So, yeah, I like it. I like what Cook's been doing lately. And I think we wind up winning this game 27-17. It's going to be 40 degrees. It's going to be some rain as well, a little bit of wind. But I just feel like it's our kind of game. And I think the Dome team, I think they're going to be a little surprised in what we got to. And our defense, by the way, has been pretty good all year. We have not ever been blown out. No teams just come, play the Buffalo Bills and just their offense lit us up at any point. Right. Go back into the season. All the losses have been one-score games, all low scoring for the most part. So our defense can keep up with the best of them. Maybe, we might not be there like statistically, like, oh my God, we have this guy with 15 sacks, but as a team unit, like we're pretty solid, especially with all the key injuries. Matt Milano, Trey White, Daquan Jones. Like, imagine if those guys were on the field, we would be one of the better defenses.
You could say that. You could say that about the whole league.
I get it. But
everyone will get beyond the field.
No, I get that. But I'm talking about defense alone. We have key players. I'm just saying, for as good as our defense has been without those guys, it's pretty impressive, is what I'm trying to say. Now,
no, absolutely.
I wish Sean McDermott would close the show more often, because that's where our losses have come. Our defensive unit couldn't get a stop in a critical moment of a game, but ultimately, the 3 quarters were lights out for the most part. The defense.
Well, both these franchises got something to prove tomorrow afternoon. Dallas. There's a lot of naysayers say they're going to do the same thing they always do. They're going to tippy toe, act like they're paper champions, and then they fade. And then Buffalo has that stigma as well. So this is going to be a fun game. The stepbrother bowl, to see who comes out on top. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to sit back and enjoy it. I know we're going to get good football. We're not going to get anything half-assed. It's going to be a good game, man. So really want to be one of those 4-25 games. Personally, I can't stand the Cowboys. I even though I'm an AFC guy, I can't stand them. I hate them. I despise them, and I think Buffalo wins this game, man. I got Buffalo winning. Just the home field advantage. That's how much I'm going with that there. Man, that's crazy. Options. What do you, Tommy? You didn't give me your remainder for schedule. What do you realistically your Bills are going to go? They're going to go. They're going to run the table.
I think we will. I think if we beat Dallas, which I think we will, I think we run the table, because like I said, after that it's the Chargers. I can't see us losing to the Chargers. I can't see us losing at home versus the Patriots. And I think at Miami, Week 18, who knows what Miami will be by then? How many more injuries will be piled up? What's going on at that time? By the way, Miami's going to be so beaten up in the last 2 games before they even play us with Dallas and Baltimore, both really good defenses. So that team is going to be just like dead tired, dead beat up. So you know what I mean? So I just feel like the momentum swing, if we win, especially if we win, is I think we can run.
But what about the Jets, man? I think Aaron Rodgers coming back.
We're going right into that, but I wanted to ask you, Curtis, before the final game of the season against the Dolphins, will there be another paternity test for Tyreek Hill? Because that seems to be a hot topic there.
What?
Paternity test. He's got so many baby drama, mama, so many different
ladies. I didn't hear anything
up.
about this. Something going on?
I guess so. I guess the hot tub is dangerous in Miami.
I didn't hear anything about it. I'm not hip, man. I didn't hear anything about that.
Oh, my God. I got to deal with these. All right, dinosaurs. Let's go right into the next topic there. The New York Jets taking going.
Is there really something going? No. The reason I'm saying
seriously, yeah. He's got accused
because he just he made this whole turn. Yeah. And he was supposedly going to church and stuff like that.
Well, now 2 ladies came up, and before he got saved, he was doing some mischiefs. So there's some baby.
He was pulling a Dan Marino.
No, he was helping to the population of Miami. He was so. That's why they call him the cheetah, because he gets a lot of women impregnated. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
Yeah, who was being sued by 2 baby mama. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that a little.
I didn't know that.
At least he read page 6.
I had no idea. I did hear that his baby mama, the one he's getting married to or married to, called him, he said, at halftime and told him to go back in the game. Something like that in the Dolphin game. I heard. I didn't hear
and
about
then
that.
I saw when they spilled condiments on her back, and she thought it was Tyreek in the back coming from behind. I mean, I don't know. Let's talk about our game that we're gonna play this Sunday between the Jets and the Dolphins in the Hard Rock. Which my cousins, I'm really disappointed that you guys didn't weasel me a ticket for me, but that's okay. I still love you. I still love you guys. I still love you guys, fellas. I wanted to be at that game, but let's go right in. It's raining right now as we speak, up and down the whole Florida, up and down all the way from Central down to South Florida. Heavy rain, wind, all that. You mentioned, Curtis, the center issue. That's a game where Quentin Williams is going to have a feast with Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald. I mean, you name it. Franklin Myers. I always say that give them. It's going to be a defensive battle. My question to me as a Jet fan: can the real Zach Wilson stand up? Who was that impersonating person that impersonated a quarterback last week against the Titans?
He looked good, man.
Against the Texans. Is this going to be a real? Do we have a quarterback that's looking for? Because he's playing for. Let's face it, he's playing for another job elsewhere to stay in the league.
Oh, yeah.
He's not coming back to the Jets. He's not going to play for the Jets. I want to see what they do here. I'm intrigued. If they win this game, Jet Nation, there's a possibility Aaron Rodgers returns the following Sunday. He was on the scout team getting one-handed interception.
Yeah, I heard
Aaron
that.
Rodgers off an Achilles. I don't know what
That's
to think,
crazy.
man. I don't know. I don't
know
want to
either.
get. I've been hurt so much by this damn team. I've been kicked in the gazoo so many times in the yam bags that I'm like, I can't fall for it, Curtis. I'm expecting the worst and hoping for the best. But I think they're gonna go in there and have a hell of a game against those Dolphins. It's gonna come down to who makes the less mistakes. If the Jets don't turn the football over and they could cause Tua to turn the ball over. Remember, last game, even though it was a horrible game that Black Friday, they turned Tua over. They made Tua look pedestrian.
Oh, yeah.
And if they could do that again, I think the Jets win it. If they could do that same replica, I think Jets win it late. Your thoughts?
Well, if Hill's not in, or I think he's going to dress and play sparingly. That's a huge. I mean, you got Sauce or Reed who's going to be on Waddle. And if you notice that what teams are doing now, they play the two high cover safeties. When you play man, it slows the time to throw. This week against the Titans, who are not a good pass rushing team, Tua was pressured 46% of the time, and they only blitzed twice.
Jets don't
And
blitz either.
and on the blitzes, he only had 1.51 seconds to throw. So you're talking about a huge, and they were playing a lot of zones. So you're going to have Sauce and Reed playing man with some over-the-top zones and better pass rush. It's going to be very, very tough. The Dolphins, if Dolphins win this one, it will show incredible intestinal fortitude because everything right now is stacked against them. I don't know if you guys have enough offense to do it, but I don't know how many guys are going to be on the Dolphins defense. Right now, it's so many. There's like 7 players, good players that they might not be in, or if they're in, they're going to be, hobbled. And that's going to be it's going to be a slick field, even if it's not raining. The pass game is going to be limited by heavy winds and heavy gusts, which is going to be, if it's not raining, the man coverage can stick pretty good. And then you got the wind blowing it, making it even harder. It's going to force the Dolphins to have to run. And as you've been saying, the Jets, they struggle against the run, but it's a little bit of a misnomer, but most of their struggles are inside, and the Dolphins struggle at running inside. You guys are pretty good at stopping the edges. It's the inside. And so I don't know, man. I'm very nervous.
It's a short week
Yes,
as well.
very. They had one practice. They had one practice. They had one walkthrough and then one practice. Do you know that there's a possibility the backup center only had 1 day of snapping with Tua? He's never been on the team before. Barely knows the
And then if the ball is if the grass is wet and mushy, exchange between and of course, what are the rates of the Miami Dolphins? Are they shotgun heavy? Because that's also a big thing
very
with a
shotgun
wet
heavy.
ball.
Very
so a wet ball
shotgun.
going, with a
Yep.
with a center who hasn't had that many snaps with Tua. There's going to be possibilities for turnovers or mishandle of snaps there. So that's going to be interesting going forward with that one.
Yeah, the Dolphins pull it out, man. The Jets are on a good team right now, but it's going to take a lot. I'm going to be more impressed with this win if they can get it than many of these other wins that we've got. Probably any other one, because this is not easy. I said at the beginning of the year, my concerns were the offensive line depth, running inside, and playing in bad weather games.
Let me tell you this. Let me add this to this caveat. And you know it. The history between the Jets and the Dolphins, it's rare when these teams sweep each other. Even when both teams are at their worst, you can always pencil a split between these two franchises. And I'm not peacocking or acting.
Not this year, though. This year we're going 2-0.
Listen, there's always a first time. Look at Tommy; he got laid. There's always a first time. I like to always think Tommy. Guys, I do it out of love and peace with Tommy. So don't think I'm taking zingers at him. It's out of love and peace. But Tommy, you sit there and you look at us, Tommy, acting like a bunch of morons arguing about this team. You're sitting back and laughing. You must be.
He's loving it, dude. He's in his glory, man.
He's loving it.
He's like,
throw some wisecrack at me. Throw some cracks at me, green jolly boy.
Listen, I've given your Jets a lot of credit all season long for how your defense has played. I've always said that your defense will keep you in the games, just like the Patriots. But I also feel like your defense is elite right now. I gotta say, I just love what you guys done on defense. Young, fast, physical, smart, like everything, man. Like that's a complete defense. It's just your offense is a 180 is a mess. Offense? But last week it was, if you're a Jets fan, you gotta be going, all right, well, hey, that's what we've been waiting for. So can they do it against the Dolphins? That's another thing, right? Dolphins, they do got some playmakers still. Van Ginkel, I like him. I think he's a good, a good player to fill in for Phillips. They got some playmakers on the outside as well with Howard, and which got banged up. I don't know if he went back in that game either. But is he playing, Howard, Curtis?
He's got a hip injury, and they elevated another cornerback, so he might not be.
So that's okay. So if Howard doesn't play, it's huge.
You got Ramsey at least.
Now you do got Ramsey, who came back obviously from that injury this offseason. He's been playing well, or actually pretty damn good. But still missing Howard though is a key loss as well.
And we're not sure about Holland either.
Right. Not sure about Holland. And of course, on the offensive side of the ball, you're not sure about Hill, or is Hill questionable right now?
I think he's going to play, but maybe play sparingly.
Okay, so he's probably going to be maybe
decoy.
Limited snap count. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, like I said, injuries are starting to really pour onto the Miami Dolphins.
It's crazy.
Listen, and then of course the offensive line is a hot mess right now. The Jets are going to get after Tua. And if Hill's banged up and he's really just out there as a decoy or just not 100%, they're going to play Hill physical. I'm going to tell you right now, if he is out there, they're going to play him physical. And it could really be dangerous to have Hill out there, especially if the weather's bad. I don't know if I would risk it, but that's up to the Dolphins. But I think this is a very close game because of the Jets' offense isn't the best. But I do think the Jets pull this out. I really do. I think Miami just has too much stuff going on right now.
Tommy, I can't hear you. Your microphone went dead. I can't hear you, Tommy. Man. Are you saying something, Tommy? Tommy!
I am saying.
Repeat it one more time.
I'm saying you guys are gonna lose this game. I just think losing at home.
He's saying you're gonna lose, Kev. He says the Jets are gonna lose.
Yeah, I heard
losing at. By the way, you guys got booed last week by your home crowd. Losing at home last week in that game should never have been a loss. Let's be real. You guys really shit the bed there. There's no excuse for losing that game.
We did a Bills
3 minutes to go. You did a Bills. But you know what? We've never been up 14 with 3 minutes. So never had that happen this season to us. So we may have lost games, but not like that. That was bad. But if you guys lose 2 home games in a row, expect the boo birds, expect a lot of chatter going on with the Dolphins. So I think you guys lose this game. I think it's close though. I'm gonna say 23-20 Jets.
Okay. I can see.
I have this weird feeling it's going to be 17-9 somebody.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be the Jets.
That sounds about right too.
Let me ask you this, Curtis. If Mike White plays, are you confident they're winning?
Oh, Mike White.
The Dolphins?
Against this former team Jets.
No. Because
really?
Because the offensive line's so bad. You know, Tua's release, it comes out so fast and he's so practiced, it really uplifts the blocking unit. If you had a quarterback who didn't have that release, everybody talking how bad this offensive line is and the guy would get his butt beat. But Tua's release is so quick. They clock it slightly faster than Marino. And then you got Hill and Waddle able to generate that depth. He's able to get that ball. We're getting the ball off at 2 and clean. Our clean throw time is 76% of our throws at 2.12 seconds. You know how insanely fast it is? But here, you want to hear something crazy? Our blitz time is less. When we're blitzed, it's 2.10.
Wow.
0.0. So the blitz is getting in quicker and we're the fastest clean throw time in the league. That's how bad we are on our protection. So if you didn't have Tua in,
they're also timing throws though, Curtis, and that's the problem with your team lately on offense, especially with the injuries with Hill. Is since they're timing throws, if your players aren't there, the whole play is pretty much for naught, or it's an interception, or just bad.
And what teams are doing now too, Tommy? And I know you're going to do it too. They're going to clog the middle lanes for the pass lanes, leave the edges open, let us run to the edges, play over the top coverage, and make us march down the field. And we struggle at that.
What I gotta say, when we've played you guys the past 2 seasons, we've played you well defensively. Now,
vice versa.
I would say
except
in the
for
playoff
this year.
game, the playoff game you guys actually did well, but like for instance, Tyreek Hill, we've done a very good job against Hill when we play him because we know how to play him right. But I'm just saying, you guys offensively right now, you're you know, it's all timing, right? Timing play. So. I just feel like right now teams are starting to dial in, especially with your offensive line being beat up, with Hill being a little slowed down. Things aren't going as smooth. They're not going as smooth as they once were because of that everything I just said. So
that's not true. Actually, Jose, that's not actually true. If you go, there's a stats that are up there. He's one of the top 5 to go through his read progressions. The problem is he doesn't. It was like a real stats, and even Drew Brees did a whole thing. That's like a misnomer. That's like a TD Fins talk push conversation. It's not really actually accurate. It's not actually accurate. Yeah, it's not accurate. The problem is he can't. The problem is when people say that is because they look at it and you see somebody open backside, but the protection isn't there to allow him to get backside. But
you just told TD Fins to kiss your backside. You just told him to kiss your backside?
Oh, shots fired.
No, I didn't say that, but he's inaccurate on some stuff.
Grow a pair. So I thought Curtis, the most craziest thing you were gonna tell me that you bought for Christmas 2 acetone gloves.
I still got my Dan Marinos. They're in a glass case. I only break them out for Dolphins games, man. Never trade up for Marino.
You don't need any calming tea? You won't need any calming tea for this game?
Oh, dude, with the Dolphins, I need hashish.
Oh, God.
Oh, courtesy Chevy. What's this commercials with him, Dan Marino? You can't go to South Florida without seeing him in one of those Chevy commercials.
Oh, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, they all free car. I think they bought his house or something like that, right? I think his house was paid for by another sponsorship, too. Dan Marino had everything for free in Miami back then.
Dan Marino
nothing.
is a sub. He lives in the other subdivision across from my cousin, and I hate it because all I got to hear my cousin being a douche. Yeah, I was at the barbershop and I saw Dan Marino come in. I'm like, okay. Well,
Oh man, I get into your family, man. I'd love to see that.
he's a douche. Yeah, over in Weston. Well, that's as far as I'm gonna get.
Did they like him? Did they think he's a nice guy?
Oh, he loves him. And, I'm like, you sell out. You don't even say you're from New York. I don't even visit him anyway. Happy holidays there, cousin June. You're still a douche. All right, let's go right back into this season as it's getting off the rails a little bit. So we see here an interesting. Let me ask this question to you guys. Realistically, talk me off the ledge, or talk me, or push me. Jets win this against the Dolphins. Do you guys see Rodgers returning?
I do. 50-50. 50-50. I think that because I think Rodgers is so egotistical that for him to put himself in a position that he's going to be ready and to go through all this stuff, and then at the last second to go, I'm out, it would like make him look like a douche. So I don't know if he would put himself in the position to look like a douche if he's not, really serious about coming back. I don't know if it's wise. I don't know if he'll go down on the first play or whatever. But I know that a guy like that, to build himself up to return at the last second, like pull the rug out, he's going to get, lit up. And we shouldn't, but he would.
I don't know
if he
so.
put himself.
If he tells me, if he gets ready,
all the haters, Anita.
But
he even had some guy come
what?
out and said he didn't tear his Achilles. They said it's not true. There's no way he tore his Achilles. He did. They were even wrote a big article. I think it was I forgot who it was. Like a major newspaper said he lied. He didn't tear his Achilles. It's not like what he said. They hate him.
It's interesting. Listen to my last few games. Of course, the Dolphins tomorrow. Then they are home. They'll host the Commanders with Ron Rivera in turmoils, and he might even be fired. He might not even finish the season. Then we take on the Browns, who Flacco, the quarterback, tough. And they're in disarray. It's a little bit.
They're tough, though.
And then we finish against Belichick and the Patriots. If they were to go win out, I don't think they're like Scott said. I don't think we make the postseason. I don't expect nothing right now. To be honest with you, as a Jet fan, I'm just gonna sit back, enjoy, and watch. I don't expect them. I'm not gonna get my hopes up because if I think they're gonna beat the Dolphins, they'll lose. So I'm just gonna sit back and just watch the games, enjoy it. Know what my defense does because I don't know what my offense is. Fair to say that. And I'm just hoping our special teams continues to evolve and be effective to help in the contribution of the wins of the team. So that's where I'm at as a Jet fan. Again, this is gonna be a really good week of football, and I forgot. Thanks for reminding me. There was a game earlier in the afternoon, which I totally forgot. And now this is the time of year where you're gonna have footballs on Saturday, Monday. Yep. It's a fun time because we're getting down to the nitty gritty, guys. Any other things here that you want to throw your final thoughts here? Any rants? Any other or moment of the floor is yours. Open forum.
I think it would be a mistake, by the way, if Rodgers came back. I think it would be God forbid something happens. I mean, for especially if you guys aren't, in the mix, let's say, into the playoff, it just doesn't make sense. Like, to what? To please the crowd? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just gear up for next season. Get 100% healthy. Build the team around you. Have your GM build the team better around Rodgers, especially the offensive line. Don't throw yourself out there, especially if you're playing at home. God forbid something bad happens again. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying, listen, anything bad could happen next season, but I just don't see why you would do it. It would be almost like playing them first game of the preseason. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense.
I agree.
Especially in his age and all that. Like just let Zach Wilson ride it out for the rest of the season because he's probably never going to be starting quarterback as long as Rodgers is healthy moving forward, right, while he's signed with the Jets. So let him finish it out with the Jets. And, I mean, listen, I will say this, though. If for some odd reason you guys have a chance and it comes down to the last game, and he's fine. Fuck it, throw him out there. You know,
Yeah.
You know, then fine if you got something to play for. But other than that, no, I wouldn't throw him out there.
All right, okay. Me personally, if he play, I'm saying if he plays, fine. Because if he gets hurt again, you know what? Now we're gonna go get another quarterback. See you later. Break it down. See you, Salah. You know, don't let the door hit you on your ass on your way out. Go run. You know, there's gonna be plenty of empty arenas or empty stadiums for you to run up and down and get your cardio in. And we need a head coach here who's gonna be nuts and bolts, ready to go, offensive minded. That's just me thinking, but we'll see. We'll see there. Again, guys. We thank you guys for joining us. We got a couple more minutes. We'll talk a little bit more. This is the season of giving. And for us, we were thankful that we're getting some good football, especially at that 425.
Yeah,
and
man.
that, you know, and then it's not my team. But again, Tommy, you got the spotlight, man. That game is going to be good, bro. Again, I can't stop talking about it, bro, because it's going to be a really interesting game. I got no dog in it. The two teams that I don't like, and I just want to see them go at it, bro. You're going to be, man, fun.
I cannot. Let me tell you, man, that I'm pumped up for that game, 425. And we don't have any remaining games at 1, by the way. All of our games are at 425. So, except for the last game, which is to be discussed. So who knows against the Dolphins? I don't know what that's going to be. A Saturday game, a Sunday game, Monday night.
It's going to get flexed.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it depends. Exactly. I think it will get flexed. So I can't say what time that, obviously, because it's not discussed yet. It's not on there, but man, I am super excited because they have a lot of people riding the Cowboys nuts right now. They got them top 5, top 3. They're the best team. You know, some people even have them as the best team right now, or close to the best team besides 49ers. Like, so if we beat the Cowboys, I think, like I said, man, I think a lot of people are going to start really worrying about the Buffalo Bills, especially AFC teams. If we make the playoffs on that kind of a streak going in, and I said this, if you guys remember, I said this early on in the season. We finished the seasons strong. Like, we've been known to do that. We did that in 2021 when we took the division from the Patriots, when the Patriots were leading the division. So it looks like this may happen again, where the Buffalo Bills finish the season strong in the regular season.
I remember you saying something like that, but you were saying, this is way too bad. We're done.
No, he did. He did say that earlier in the season. He did say that. I got to give him credit.
I did. So, but I will say though, after that loss to Denver, I was pissed, and I rightfully
Denver's looking pretty good, huh?
No, they are. They are.
Tommy,
but there's no.
Tommy put on the
excuse
Frank show. He looked like Frank there, Frank the Tank, when the couch went at Denver.
I almost. I don't know if I did all that, but it was. Let me tell you, that was a rough loss. But I will say this though. And I said it in my podcast. In a way, it was almost like a blessing in disguise, that loss, because we've winded up firing Ken Dorsey. Because I think if we win that game, I don't think Ken Dorsey gets fired. Yeah, I don't think he gets fired, right? And I think we still have Ken Dorsey here, or at least a couple more weeks. And then we would be even in more trouble. So, in a way, that loss helped out the Buffalo Bills because they had to make a decision and move on from Ken Dorsey. And right now it's looking like a very good decision. So, like I said, man, I'm pumped up for this game. I think it's going to be another game of the week, kind of like KC was last weekend, and have fun, man. So everybody sit back, get your popcorn. It's going to be a fun game.
Absolutely. Get your popcorn, get ready. Curtis, give us your final thoughts. I tried to keep it under an hour, but we went over.
Oh, man. This could be misery. I mean, it's weird because I kind of said for a while that these issues is like right at the foundation of the team, but I just wanted to win. I was preferred to be wrong. So it's like, if I'm right, I'm going to feel bad. And then if I win, I'll be happy, but then I'm wrong. So it's like I'm caught in this catch-22. But I got bad feelings. I just got a bad feeling that we're going to struggle. And this team needs a bye week. They need at least a home game. They've got to get to the conference championship. They got too much invested. This is a peak talent year. And we miss it, man. It is going to be ugly.
Looks like the Steelers are going to lose, gentlemen. Just a heads up. They're down 24-13.
How do they stink?
Yeah,
all right.
Just giving you a heads up on the score.
I want to thank everyone in the chat that joined us. We appreciate all the likes, live, subscribe. Don't forget to follow Mafia Sports Report on his channel. Like and share all his videos, as well as Ace Per Head with Curtis and everyone here on the Sports Jedi Network, Jets-alorian, and all our different platforms. We'll be back like usual next week, Saturday at 6 p.m. This is the AFC Shakedown. Happy holidays, everyone, and we'll see you shortly. May the sports be with you.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.